Greetings. Greetings from Dharamsala, India. Welcome to the 7th annual Generation Change Exchange with His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. This exchange is a partnership between the Office of His Holiness and the United States Institute of Peace. During our 2-day dialogue, His Holiness will engage with 26 young, amazing peacebuilders from 12 conflict-affected countries across Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America. I am David Yong, Vice President at the United States Institute of Peace for the Gandhi King Global Academy, which is, of course, named after Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Our academy serves as a support for training for peacebuilders. I will be honored to serve as the moderator for the dialogues for the next 2 mornings. Your Holiness, thank you very much for your support, your continuing support of our exchange. For the last 2 years, we enjoyed virtual dialogues with you online. But of course, we're even happier and honored to be back with you in Dharamsala. This past week, we have experienced the cool monsoon showers, a double rainbow in the sky, and the beautiful clear views of the Himalayas. So thank you for hosting us. Our young leaders this past week have taken a course in leadership skills here in Dharamsala. That course has included an introduction to the art of storytelling, an art that we believe is key to leadership and key to peace building. Your Holiness, we consider you one of this era's great spiritual leaders and one of its most eloquent peace builders. We have been moved by your stories of hope, compassion, resilience, and peace. That is why our dialogue, your dialogue, with our young peace-building leaders, in it we want to share with you stories about how children of war can become leaders for peace, how children of war can become leaders for peace. Your Holiness, we have divided our stories into 4 themes, 4 spiritual dimensions of peace building, largely inspired by your teachings. So after you hear each set of stories, I will invite you to share your own reflections and your own wonderful stories. And then, time permitting, our leaders have some questions for you about their spiritual leadership on peace building. So our 4 themes, Your Holiness, will be, number 1, belonging to a community. Number 2, compassion that you've so deeply taught us. Number 3, inner peace, to be able to do our peace-building work. And 4, our passion for equality and justice that we share with you. So we will now start our first theme and then invite your reflections. Our first theme is on belonging, and we have 6 short sharings to present to you, and our first will be Qual.
Thank you very much, David. Your Holiness, my name is Kwal Arau Kwal, a former child soldier and a refugee from South Sudan. South Sudan. The journey of my life began in the year 2004 when the war in my country was at the peak. There were no men left in the village. I remember I never saw my father. They were all the terrified faces of women and children. And while the civil war was happening, there were internal insurgencies, and my village was left vulnerable to attacks. So the chief in my village decided to communicate that every family that had 2 male children contribute one to be trained as a child soldier. In my family, I was contributed. And the memories of that are terrifying. I remember that moonlit night, sitting under an acacia tree beside my dying friend, watching helplessly. Those were terrifying experiences. Your Holiness, as a human, there is nothing I can do to undo what I've been through. But I have been reflecting lately, now that I'm a father, what is this kind of world that I leave for my children? And this has been the toughest reflection I've had. And now I'm working with the former child soldiers on the first step of healing by giving them the space to share their stories and so that they can contribute to a better world. I now work with the former child soldiers and the refugees in northern Uganda. That's my story, Your Holiness.
Thank you, Kwal. Ruby.
Good morning, Your Holiness and everyone. I'm Ruby. I'm from Syria. And today I want to tell a story of power. The power that my family gave me. But it's not the power of money or status, it's the power of words. I grew up in a family that believed in equality between man and woman. Feminism was the core of my upbringing. But the thing is, my family did not even know what feminism is. What they knew is that men and women are equally capable, strong, and intelligent. Equality between man and woman is not the norm in my society. My family could not change the whole society, but what they could do is give me the power of their words. They reminded me each time, me and my twin brother, that we are equal in every single aspect. And they used their words to remind me that I can take any challenge and path I choose. Before every exam, before my swimming and chess competition, before I traveled abroad on my own, they used to tell me, you are strong, you are powerful. For 27 years, even now, every time I doubt myself, they tell me, you are strong, you are powerful. And this is the word that I exactly need to hear, because powerful and strong are not words that are usually used to address women and girls. But these are the words I needed to find my path of happiness and success. And now, these are the words that give me power to fight for other women and girls. They also keep me going to challenge system of inequality and injustice. So one day, every single girl in my community grow up hearing, you are powerful, you are strong. Thank you, Your Holiness.
Thank you, Ruby. Adriana, please.
Thank you, David. Good morning, Your Holiness. I am Adriana. I'm from Colombia. And my story is in 2019, when I am about to start a project with young people. Okay. Young people.
No, 그래서 부신신기 제도 내가 지금
Young people deprived of the liberty in prison. I feel afraid because I have been listening only bad news and comments about these young people. But as days go by, my feelings changes. Because many times I thought that vulnerability was bad. In my heart, I thought that to be vulnerability was being big and coward.
그래서
수수수수 즉 가서 전담 매배당 된데 삼로 고야죠. 어디 즉 닝도 매백이 된데 소고도 생각하시죠.
닝도.
vulnerability 세들시 인주다 수수 그 뒤에 즉 펌예 쇼야기 디 인상 받으신데요. 근데
And I thought that to be vulnerability was to be a victim. However, with the time and the experience I have had in my life, in special with these young people, I realized that begin to be vulnerable, is to be human, to be strong, and to be brave. I just understood that these young people just want only to be someone and to do something about their lives. And these young people want only opportunities to grow up like me. And for this reason, I decided to be part of the solution and to be part of the young people who work for a better Colombia. Thank you.
Thank you, Adriana. And then we have Okash.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My name is Mohammed Okash. I'm from Somalia. 20 years ago, one night I was walking on a dark street to my home. It was the only street I could reach to home.
그래서
로니 슈콘라 크란조 사구기 나라 단디 그래서 상남 여러 상남디 로메스 나우나
로메바.
나우 저디
So I was walking on the street. I found two men with guns in front of me. It is the only way I could reach home. So as I was getting closer to them, I realized one of them was my former classmate who dropped out from school. It was a shocking moment for me. I couldn't know what to do. I took the risk and I passed the way. When I get closer to him, I say hi. And he said hi. He identified me. I was left safely and I reached home safely. And I started thinking, why you fellow young men are having guns around you? What is the future will look like? Will you live in such an environment? I keep thinking and thinking and thinking. I made a decision. I was at a crossroad of my career. I didn't know what to do after high school. So I decided to be an educator. I started my career as a teacher from primary school, secondary school, till at college. As time moves very fast, I teach the young people with employable skills and entrepreneurial skills so they can get jobs and start businesses. One day, I was on the street. One of my students stopped me, and he has a story to tell me. He said, I have a good news for you. And I asked, what is? He was very happy. He said, I started a business, and he sells a product around the market. His product is almost every shop. And he hired 20 young people. And that is the moment I felt I was contributing something valuable to my community. And that kept me moving to do everything, what I do every day. And that is my way of building a peaceful and prosperous Somalia. Thank you.
Thank you, Okash. Moji.
Your Holiness, my name is Mojisola. I'm from Nigeria. Your Holiness, growing up for me was different because I grew up knowing only my mother. This is because my father and my mother had divorced while I was a child. As a child, I saw my mom sell her property. Sometimes she even has to borrow money from family and friends just for her to be able to take care of me and my siblings. And this was really so heartbreaking. As I grew up more, I realized that the challenges that my mother faced is not just limited to her. There are hundreds of women out there that are affected by cultural barriers. I also realized that the stigmatization and the marginalization that women face in society affects the quality of their contribution to society, and it also affects their mental health. For my mom, she was really lonely because people thought that she's a bad example. Because in my culture, a woman is not expected to leave her husband's house. To make things worse, my mom was living in a society that is affected by terrorism, kidnapping, and social violence. I start to ask myself, what can I do to make change? This provoked me in 2018 to start a community initiative that supports women, particularly women from disadvantaged homes like me. And I begin to ask myself, how can I help women to find their voice, to be able to use their voice to make change and break stereotype? Your Holiness, today I'm happy to tell you that I have created a safe space for young women, which I call the Peace Club. And through this Peace Club, I'm able to bring young women together, to be able to empower each other, to support each other, to share and learn with each other. My Peace Club is now in 3 communities, and I have over 50 young women there. This is how I'm making impact in my community. Thank you, Your Holiness.
Thank you very much, Moji, for your powerful story and your powerful work. Your Holiness, we have one more story about belonging. We'll invite your thoughts. This is Leonardo.
Your Holiness, good morning. It was a sunny morning, 9 a.m. A room full of kids around me, 20 of them, and then the bell to go to the break ring. And everyone left that room, including the teacher. But I was the only one who stayed in that room. And I was looking at a blank wall in front of me. And I was wondering in my mind, why did they all left? Why am I the only one who is here? At that point, I realized what it's like to be left behind, what it's like to not be part of a group, what it's like to feel that you don't belong. But I also realized it is not just me. This is a reality that many people in my country face. They feel that the government is not taking care of them. They feel that they're not part of that larger society. 20 years later, I'm looking at a blank page. And this time, it's a blank page full of hope. And here in this blank page, we wrote letters to the ex-combatants in our country who were coming back to society after war, to welcome them, to give them a new opportunity to be part of our community. We exchanged more than 7,000 letters. And with this process, we believe that if we give each one a second chance, if we can create a society and a community where each one feels that they can belong, we can bring reconciliation to our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonardo.
그 누구 그랬어?
Colombia.
콜롬비아.
Yes. Thank you to our young leaders for their stories, Your Holiness. So you've heard these 6 stories of how war can damage the families from our 6 leaders, how it has created in them both sadness, Qual leaving his family, and Okash being threatened by an armed classmate, and Moji's very sad story of discrimination against her mother. But yet in all the stories, there's stories of resilience as well. And so I know, Your Holiness, you're a model of resilience. I've loved your stories about your mother, and despite your becoming Dalai Lama at the age of 4, despite your exile, the love of your mother continues in your heart and provides you great strength. If you could reflect on what you've heard and your own search for belonging in your leadership.
그렇었지. 그 저거도 그
저가 이 크라운 쪽에 단다 스스스 루규 송거 봐. 스스 지조了这지조这个空引定的
가
지조这个的미 처시 그引定的그래서 초월 랩처럼 지조를 셔지 쉬야 걸 송거 이 단
이 세우 여고 고마소
나 겨울 시기 저 구제 루규 구제 루규 디 직송로 나서
Now we, humanity, in this planet, because you see, human population much increase. At the society, economy, education, these are little, I may say, corrupted, not very equal. So now, whether we accept these difficult, unfair situation, accept or not, it is reality. Now we have to work this unhealthy world. We must make effort to create healthy world and happy humanity. Say, distinction, different race, different nation, different color, different religion, these are secondary. We really think, have to, or say, make effort, entire humanity on this planet, we all have equal right. I always say, we all come from our mother. When we were young, taking mother's milk, we are equal. I don't think different nation with different color, I don't think as soon as born, a mother take care and sucking mother's milk. At mother's side, immense affection. And ourselves also totally relying on mother. That's we all human being. You see, when our life start, same way. Now I always say, feel, now we must make effort to promote human warm-hearted sort of feeling. The Hindi karuna, compassion. Young age, as a human being, as a sort of community or group. So at the young age, no discrimination, rich or poor, or what color, what religion, what nationality. We all feel same, play together. Then we join education. in education. Now, frankly speaking, a 1,000-year-old sort of education analyze things and or how to work the actual circumstances. But then we Asia and also many African, the Western imperialist brought modern education. Modern education, I love modern education. However, modern education very much oriented about material value. Not much talk about our inner value. So now, I feel, even in my own lifetime, First World War, Second World War, and a lot of killing, all these, you see, through education. Too much distinction, we and they. Not much sort of thinking. We are the same human being. We have to live together. Now, time come. In our education, we should insist entire 7 billion human beings. We are same human brothers, sisters. We have to live together on this planet. There is no proper ground to say, or European, or Asian, African, you see, no sound sort of basis. We all, 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth. If someone 3 eyes, then I surprise. Otherwise, we all same, exactly same. I think if you go detail about our brain, same. So now, population increasing, and the climate condition also sometimes, you see, create a problem. So now, 7 billion human beings, we have to live together with strong sense of brotherhood, sisterhood. We are same human being. So on the division, on the basis of color, basis of different nationality, and also even using differences of religion, these are, I think, no proper reason. Religion, personal business, personal matter. When we're born, no particular religion. Then through modern education, then in a distinction, your race, your nation, your religion create more complication. Now time come, we have to insist all 7 billion human beings, we are same. We born same way with mother. We die same way, their last breathing. So, and then most important, we human being, when we born, mothers take care, affection or compassion. At the time of dying, also you surrounded with people who really show you genuine sort of warm feeling, the dying person much happier. They, or say, too much sort of, or say, a ceremony thing, it's not much effect. Important is surrounding people who really show you genuine love. I told the former Indian Prime Minister
Manmohan Singh.
Manmohan Singh. I told him, of course, I will live another 15, 20 years, and there's no question. But at the time when I dying, I prefer in India. You see, surrounded with people who really show you love. Not artificial something. If I dying, surrounded with these Chinese officials, too much artificial. So I much prefer dying this country free, democracy, open. So when we born, no ceremony. At the time of death, no need ceremony. Surrounded by trusted friend who really show you genuine feeling. And then during lifetime, freedom, very important. Our brain, quite sophisticated, thinking, and particularly we human brain have the ability to investigate and always raise the question, why? That's very useful. And in order to fully develop question why, you need freedom. Just one political system, not allow many different views, just one view, is actually spoiling human brain. Our brain, very sophisticated, think many things and a lot of questions. So totalitarian system, very bad. Each individual should have complete freedom, thinking, and raise a lot of questions, why? I think in India, over 1,000 years, you see, the question of why, that really helped development of Indian different spirituality and a different culture. So in order to fully utilize human brain, we need complete freedom. So now, I spent a few years in Tibet. The Chinese communists just only sort of say, allowed to think about their own communism system. not allowed other things. It is wrong. Now look China itself. Number of Chinese who really showing interest about Buddhism, about my talk. So the people, as a human being, they also need genuine freedom to think, to listen. Just, I think if you use also accept creator, the creator creates 2 ears. So listen this side, listen this side. So different sort of views, different concept, very helpful to learn. Then each individual's own brain judging. May I say so? Even religion, your family, your community belongs certain religion. But after you born and gradually you have right to investigate. And whether you remain a non-believer, up to you. Your family, very religious-minded, but yourself and thinking, then more, or say, atheist. Okay. But so long, we, as a member of human society, nobody can escape from human compassion. Religion is something different. But basically, we all should have warm feeling. Because in order to survive, your human communities help, or your life very much depends on the community. So, close feeling, truly sense of human brothers, sisters. So now, warm-heartedness here, it automatically brings inner peace. More affectionate minded people there, then no basis to grow fear. So fear, very bad for mental state. Fear. Then also fear very often develop anger. Anger, very bad for our health. Even our sleep. Too much anger, you can't sleep. Without anger, more warm-hearted feeling, the sound sleep. I always sleep 8 hours, 9 hours sleep. So, the anger is real enemy. Destroy your peace of mind and bring fear, uncomfortable. So, without anger, more compassionate, more warm-hearted, then you get inner peace. With inner peace, even food more taste. Full of anger, even food, not much good taste. So, we human beings, we have this sophisticated mind. So our life, whether become a happy life or not, much depend on these emotion. This is not a question of religious thing. Simply, in order to carry peaceful life, happy life, day and night. And whenever you meet people, always smile. As a human brothers, sisters, you see, no use to show that. So I myself, I practice compassion. And on the basis of entire human being on this planet, actually our brothers, sisters. So different color, different nationality, different sort of faith, these are secondary. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, we are same human face, human being. So with that feeling, wherever I go, I always feel very happy. I always smile. As I already mentioned, if someone, you see, teeth, something like tiger, something, and different eye, then I feel it a little difficult. But basically, we are same human being. Then more important, we have to live together on this planet. Now, on the differences of nationality, religion, color, these are secondary. The past concept, now no longer relevant. World population increasing and the climate also now unpredictable. So now, remaining we human beings, we have to live happily, side by side. Sense of brotherhood, sisterhood. I'm like this, dress, Buddhist monk. But basically, I'm a human being, same. So oneness of human being, I feel that is important. Wherever I go, I always talk, we are same. We entire human being, we are human brothers, sisters. Okay.
Your Holiness.
Now some questions.
Yes.
Some argument.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to call on Ruby first. Please, Ruby. Yes.
Thank you, Your Holiness, for your inspiring words. I have a question. You mentioned many challenges, such as the increase in population and climate change. So, to you, what is a good leader that can lead us in what is coming in the future?
Basically, principle, democracy, best, and a leader through election. I think people also should have better education, then can judge. But when election take place, use pocket money. This is also not very good. And then, of course, you see, by force, no useful. So genuinely, complete freedom, then choose. Very good.
Thank you. Qual, please.
Thank you very much, Your Holiness. It's a very deep learning for me. My question has always been in regards to what I do. Sometimes I'm very angry, and you mentioned anger, about the slow pace that things are moving. I feel like I do a lot, but there is no impact. I don't see a lot of impact. So how do I prevent myself from this deep anger, and how do I prevent myself from getting burned out, like overworking myself in this situation?
When some situation, some people create which causing you anger, but then investigate whether these people voluntarily doing this or some other reason, some other pressure. And then also, you see, unhealthy activities, mainly due to short-sighted, not thinking long-run consequences. So, emotional level, anger is very short-sighted. Without anger, then use human intelligence, analyze, and look more holistic way. Then you see the reality. Anger, not seeing holistic, only the particular spot. So that is, I may say, uncivilized people. Then, you see, anger, almost normal. But some education, some knowledge about happiness and happy family, happy community. You see, our view should be more wider perspective and long-term.
Thank you.
So thinking, very important.
심슈 마차에 잠잠 그런 내가 제베 qabla 근데 제 도움도 아니 심슈 마차에 겨울지 깔아지 나나스.
I believe we, humanity, very nature, from birth, affection, compassion there. So we live among humanity. So little obstacles come. That's maybe some temporary causes. Long run, I believe we human beings, we are one of social animal who have more sense. Therefore, little problem happen due to certain circumstances, but basically no way to lose our faith to humanity, to human brothers, sisters. And some of these also the problem, we tell people through media and can change these things. We should not let out anger and killing, no use. I really feel the time of gun outdated. Now, in my lifetime, as I briefly mentioned, First World War, Second World War, during my lifetime, how many people killed by weapon. And then when I is seeing these soldiers with carrying gun, they carry these work not voluntarily, but order, whether king or queen or warlord. That is now outdated. We, each individual, we should have full freedom, thinking.
Your Holiness, you spread love and compassion online. And Moji has a question about the opposite of that. In her generation, many, please Moji.
Yeah, I would like to ask also that we are born as man and woman, and how can we live together? Because we also see that in this world, women also are marginalized. How can we begin to...
marginalized.
Ah.
Can I go on? Yeah, so how can love be between man and woman such that they are being treated equally and fairly together?
Whether there is creator or not, men need women, women need men. So, so the human nature, frankly speaking, women, certain sort of, the physical condition which produce child and milk. And father, suppose is in different family. So, we should think the nature process. Sometimes we, human being, particularly human leader, too much sort of sophisticated mind. So is a control, basic human nature. Kozucha? Cha listen. T.
Your Holiness, thank you for your reflections. And before we move on to the next theme, our second theme, I want to reflect that the love...
No, stomach, hunger, no differences, man and female. We all same.
So before we move on to the next theme, I want to ask you a favor because you spoke so lovingly about your mother and about how the love of a mother is so much the cause for our ability to be compassionate human beings and to be able to be a part of our communities, to belong to our communities. You heard Ruby talk about her mother and her father. You heard Moji talk about the strength of her mother. Ruby's parents' mantra rings in my ears. You are strong. You are powerful. So before we move on, I'd love to ask you to share your stories about your mother. I remember your story about your riding on your mother's shoulders, and could you please share some of your memories of your mother?
I come from a small village. So whole situation, more human nature. So, a mother takes care her children. At that time, no nursery or like that. Mother take, and my mother carry on mother's shoulder, and sometimes I control my mother's direction. I hold my mother's two ear. So, no mission, just human. I think that way of life really create our life very close, our nature. Then missions, gradually, our life, in a way, become much easier. But in a way, our very human way of thinking, a little bit distance. So, tea.
Thank you, Your Holiness. So I think we're going to move now and bring the second group. So please bring your tea with you. Thank you to our first group of storytellers.
Oh, sorry. Important thing is we should have strong feeling, oneness of 7 billion human beings. We are same. We have to live together. So, due to little differences, fighting among humanity and produce weapon to kill human brothers and sisters is totally wrong. Outdated. Now we must build a real peaceful world with all human beings, same human being. So we have to live together. And different color, even you want to marry different color, okay. So now, absolutely, we should have freedom and thinking more nature mind, not artificial thinking. Okay.
Thank you. So our next theme, our next spiritual dimension of leadership and peace building, we believe is one of your favorite topics, compassion. So we have 6 more leaders to share their stories about compassion in their young lives and in their new leadership. So we're going to start first with my good friend Sebastian.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My name is Sebastian. I'm from Colombia, and this is the from Colombia.
Colombia.
Colombia, yes. This is the best day of my life, by the way. It was April in 2017. I was in this little village in the middle of the jungle that was created for the peace process in Colombia to gather the guerrilla. There was a little cabin, poorly constructed, and inside there, these guys were making tattoos. I get inside because I really want to get one, and I remember there was an ex-combatant were laid in a bed, making these tattoos, and he was laughing and making jokes with his friends about how they used to take villages, like the one that I was in which I grew up. I remember right there that that my family was violently displaced from people like him.
가르쳐 그래. 가르쳐도 그 저거 그래.
저 말은
알레.
We escaped to Bogota, and my father actually had to take care of the family. He was young. He was younger than me right now. He started selling drugs. He ended up in prison, and that was like 5 years. After those 5 years, we were walking actually in some streets in Bogota, and he was shot to death. And it was a hard time. Back in the cabin, I reached my pocket because I had a pen, and I was preparing myself to kill this guy. I know it's really bad. And this little girl comes inside the cabin, crawling, reached the bed, and this ex-combatant took her from the ground and hugged her tightly, and that day changed my life, actually.
가르쳐.
no Quran ta ji mi ji sendo ke son da jang de ka sa shina ki la de kangju di na la mi ji la long lang chen ji chen yin se and the Quran sendo ke de dip ki de pomu shin ji ji yong chen ne ni pomu di mi di ya bang le kya chen de Quran di ne sem ba ju wa tep son
That day really changed my life, and I have been working with the thing about this, the real important thing here is that this is not about our revenge.
No.
This is not about us as people that have been experienced violence in any way. This is about the next generations, and I think that that's why we are working, and that's why we're all of my brothers and sisters are here. Thank you, Your Holiness.
Thank you, Sebastian.
가르쳐 그래.
자신 Quran ta ji du bu dang gen de me ba so sam ba di je bu the bar ba ta di ngan ji gu mai ngan du sang ma ji ba re sha special ne ya di sam lo di thol ko ya.
And our next leader is Helena.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My name is Helena Fasaha. I'm from Ethiopia. I work in humanitarian organization towards emergency response for the internally displaced people, which is internally displacement is in my country, which is now a common thing in my country. So every time I work in emergency response, I feel two-sidedness. The one side is like I'm helpful for these people. I'm here to help the people which are in need, and in the other side, it's I feel so heartbroken because I saw a woman, a mother with her children without no food to feed her children, and I saw a father with his children without no shelter to live in, and I saw many of the people flee from their original placement to the place where they never even know where they are moving. So in this part, I realize and I sit to understand where is my place for me to change. Then in my childhood, I grew up in a church where I know how to respect people, where I learn how to respect and how to love others and friends, family, and the society. So what I believe is like for us to start change, our religious leaders in our institution, wherever of any kinds of a religion it might be, but it's so helpful for us to make a unity, for us to feel some humanity. So, thank you.
가르쳐.
미 독서 직지 chen 때 직 펜주인 로버치야다 딕시우지 개침부 임바치모랑 스톤스.
I really feel wonderful the spirit of European Union. France, Germany, many, how say, decades enemy, killing each other. But then under the leadership of Adena, de Gaulle, you see, eventually they develop European Union. Through many decades killing each other, consider enemy, but that completely changed. Now whole European Union, no military forces and no record among member states killing each other. It's not just a theory, it actually happened. So now thinking whole some time back, one occasion, some scientists want to examine my brain. I didn't accept. But actually, my mind, my brain, quite peaceful. I train on daily practice altruism. So my brain quite sort of say peaceful, sound. That directly affect my sleep. And also digestion. Much fear, much anger, then even digestion a little bit difficult, isn't it? So peace of mind. I think you cannot buy peace of mind from shops or produced from factories, but yourself. Mother give you this brain, and the mother take maximum care with affection. So you yourself, more compassionate mind, thinking that way, not expensive, but most beneficial.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Now we'll turn to Anna.
Hello, Your Holiness. I am Ana. I am from Venezuela. And what I'm going to tell you is about a really meaningful time that I experienced, that thinking of what is compassion to me. In 2017, I remember I was in my university, and I had my backpack with books and with a tear gas mask. We had been protesting Venezuelan youth for over 90 days, with more than 100 killings of young people by the arms of the government and the military forces. All of us students went downhill to protest, and as it was normal to us in all of those 90 days. But I remember when I saw the tanks of the National Guard, I felt so angry, so angry. And I thought about everything that had happened in those 90 days. I was holding a shield that had painting on it, I fight for my family to come back home. The Venezuelan crisis have taken around 6 million people that are now living in other countries. I went downhill with this shield, and I found myself only with a barrier of wood between me and the armed forces. I was paralyzed. And, sorry. And I found myself completely alone, and I felt